well.
Okay, I'm gonna record this for everybody. So, like, is that okay if I share it with everybody?
Absolutely.
Okay, so hi, I'm Connie Rose, and we're gonna be doing an inner voice session today with one of my star QLAs, Rebecca. She's agreed to be a guinea pig here for us as she's learning how to do these sessions for herself and her people. So, we're just gonna start at the beginning. I'm gonna just walk our way through it and talk through everything. Okay, so the first thing we do when we get on Zoom, so first of all, you could have a free Zoom account and it'll go for 45 minutes. So I have a paid Zoom account because I use it all the time. I do most of my work on Zoom, and that way that allows me to have literally clients around the world, and I do. So that is something to consider. But you could do a 45-minute session for free, and then if it goes over, then you can always hop back on. Okay, so that being said, I click on this. So I pull up on my Google Chrome already. I have my scan software open. So when I click on the share button, so that's the first step is make sure you're logged in there. And then when I click on the share button, I'll just go to the under application windows. And then on the right hand side, it'll say share options. And I click share sound. And then I just hit the blue share button at the bottom. And here we are. So then I confirm, like Rebecca, can you see the share,
Yes.
like what I'm sharing? Okay. So I'm going to pull her. So before the session, I always send out an email asking the client for their information. And so even though Rebecca has her own account, we're just doing this as a test. So I pull up, you know, make sure that your client prospect is up here because that's everything's going to that person. And so we're going to start by, I just tell people this is very super simple software. And we're going to start by clicking on the quick scan. So every day I start my day with clearing, shielding, and grounding. And it's the best way to start a client session, any client session, whether it's a mind sync session or a pain, like anything, like always start here. It's going to give you the best results, like kind of clearing the slate. So I click on clearing. That's how easy it is. Now, Rebecca, can you hear it? Okay. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to be able to hear it because our software, the frequencies, work through the quantum field. So while it's nice to be able to hear it, you don't necessarily have to hear it. So I'm going to turn that down a little bit because it's working regardless of the volume. Can you hear me okay? Better if it's lower? Okay, great. Then I'm going to click on shield. So I explain in clearing, that's clearing. So we have a field and we have a physical. So the aura is our field. And so the clearing of the field is clearing that emotional, mental, spiritual body so that it's clear for us to, again, get the most benefit out of what we're doing. The shield is shielding us from other unwanted frequencies that come in, because the when we're with somebody, our fields go out 8 to 12 feet, even larger than that for some people. And so when we're physically with somebody, it overlaps, and even you could pick up on people's stuff even over like phone or video, or because we're energetic beings, right? And so shield helps protect you to keep your stuff, like, I got enough stuff on my own. I don't need to grab onto anybody else's, right? And so shielding helps do that for us. Some people like to do EMF shield every day. I do it in the morning. I don't always do it for my client sessions. Then we go to grounding. Now, these 3-minute booths are amazing. And we always start with grounding because it helps literally ground you. They're very self-explanatory. And there's 3 different options under each button. So I like the birds. If the birds come up, I use that one. Sometimes I'll like click on it until the birds come up because it'll just cycle through. So let's see what it's going to do today. Oh, it's the birds. And so the reason I like the birds so much is that like they've proven that birds will sing when they feel safe. And over time, living with the birds, humans, when they hear the birds singing and they know they're safe, it sends a message to our brain to know that we're also safe. So that's personally like why I like the birds. And so it's a 3-minute boost. Lauren teaches us that we only have to run a frequency for about 20 seconds for it to be effective. So the 3-minute boosts are great. Anytime you need a little boost, it's great to do that. And I will tell you, like, here's a hot tip. When I am driving somewhere, especially like on a road trip, my family lives 2 hours away, my brother. And so if I'm going late at night, coming back and forth late at night, and I need a little bit of energy, like my phone is Bluetooth to my car. And so I will run some of these 3-minute boosts through my car speakers. And oh my goodness, it is like amazing having everything, right? Surround sound and all this stuff. So that's a little tip for that too. So, and again, if the birds didn't show up, I could click on it again. And there's the frogs. And if you don't like the frogs, you can click on again. And there's the water. Okay? So that's the first thing I do. Then I go back, I teach everybody, because not only am I doing the session, I'm teaching them, because the end goal is that they get the software themselves to empower them and their family to use this, right? So I teach them as I go. That's why I do it over Zoom, so they can see how easy it is. And I keep affirming, this is so easy. This is so easy. This is so easy. So I click on the little icon in the top left corner, and then I tell them the next thing we're going to do is inner voice. But we're going to do a special kind of inner voice called Easy Scan, because Easy Scan, look, it's 3 scans in one. It has inner voice, it has vitals, scan and optimize, and we're going to talk about that in a moment, and then comprehensive scan and optimize. So at this point, I'll go through, before I hit scan, I will go through, like, inner voice. This is the screen that you're going to see in a minute, and explain inner voice. So inner voice is a software that detects what's going on in the emotional body through our voice. And it scans over like 24,000 different frequencies, octaves, 2,000 per zone. So it's the black and white keys on the piano. There's 12 notes in the chromatic scale. People don't need to know what the chromatic scale is. I just tell them it's the black and white keys. And it goes over 9 octaves. So it's pretty darn extensive. And what it's going to do is going to detect the top 3 that are out of balance and give music back to balance that. And then it's also going to detect what the lowest one is out of balance. Because the ultimate goal is to have everything kind of the same, right? So the lowest one is what's going on in the unconscious mind. And oftentimes, that's the most powerful one. And we're going to revisit that in a moment too. So then the scan is also going to go over vitals. And then I just show them what the types of things are in the vitals. Because can you even believe this? Look, it's going to go food sensitivities, blood, things that'll show up in your blood work, your chakras. And if people don't understand what chakras are, I tell them they're the major energy centers of the body. This science is 5,000 years old. China has been using this technology, this type of energetic knowledge for 5,000 years or longer. They're kind of like in a breaker box, the main energy centers. They're actually scientifically proven to be connected to the endocrine system. So those are also our hormone centers. So while it sounds very woo, it's not woo at all. Then there's the gastrointestinal functions, meridians. Now, again, if people who don't know what chakras are, they may not know what meridians are. I tell them, like, well, have you ever heard of acupuncture? And there's different spots on the body, and they're arranged in lines. So just like the analogy of the chakras with the breaker box, the meridians, think of the meridian boxes like the wiring through your house. This is the wiring through your body, and there's different points along the way. And so when you go get an acupuncture treatment, they're dealing with meridians. Our software will scan and then optimize those meridians. It also looks at our nutritional analysis, like what we're missing, macronutrients, micronutrients, things like that, amino acids. Then there's physical functionality. And again, it looks at all kinds of things like bone health and ligament health and eyes and, just all the parts of our physical body. Then there's toxicities because we're exposed as clean living as we all think we are trying to do. Like there's still toxins that get through. And guess what? Our brains, our negative thoughts can actually create toxins in our body also. So this shows the different toxicities that are there. And then it's scan. And this is how, if we were just going to do a vital scan, it would just be as easy as clicking scan. And then it scans your body, like your biofield, your blueprint, your frequency blueprint. And then when we're done, it goes to optimizing. Optimizing is simply, it looks at your frequency blueprint, compares it to what I call the divine blueprint. So our software knows the ideal frequencies for all parts of our physical, emotional, mental, spiritual bodies. And I call it the divine blueprint because it says we're made in his image. And to me, I never understood that until I had this software, because it's ideal. It's how we were designed after him in the perfection, right? Our bodies are designed to heal when they're in alignment. So what our software does is that the initial scan, there's actually 2 scans going on. The first scan is just scanning your frequency blueprint. The second scan we call optimize, because not only does it scan you again, but it scans it in comparison to that divine blueprint. So it says, okay, here's Connie. Here's the divine blueprint. What frequencies are needed to send to Connie in her biofield to bring her into alignment? Because when we're in alignment, our body is designed to heal. The software is amazing. The body is the miracle. So that's what scan and optimize. So we call that optimization, that process of sending the right frequencies into alignment. And then we have comprehensive. So I tell people vitals is kind of like the software of the body, how things are functioning. Whereas comprehensive is like the hardware of the body. So then I show them this is what's also going to be scanned. Like I'll just read the list. There's arteries, chromosomes, connective tissue, ears, eyes, heart, lymphatic system, muscles, nerves, organs, your skeleton and your veins. All of these things are going to be scanned and optimized in this easy scan. So I tell people to get the best results out of this scan is because it's going to read the emotional body. And we know that there are, in the world of emotions, there are higher frequency emotions like love, peace, gratitude, joy. And then there's authenticity. Authenticity is one of the highest frequencies, if you didn't know that. Then there's the lower numbered frequencies like sadness, grief, shame, anger, resentment, guilt. You kind of get the idea. So for me and what I've discovered, I ask people, so I work with, my company's Own Your Life, and I'm an NLP master coach and trainer, and I work with people to get what they say they want. And so while we're doing this, we might as well add that to the mix too, right? So I tell people, do you have any goals? I call them projects sometimes that you're working on. Now, it's not important at all for your client or prospect to verbalize those. It makes no difference. They could keep all of this. They're doing all this work in their mind because, well, one, we don't want to get into it because it could get really long, and it's not going to make a difference anyway. So our thoughts and our emotions are imprinted on our vocal cords. Okay, so we don't have to talk about it to get the benefit. So I ask people to take a minute and think about a goal or a project that you might have that you're working on. And then just ask them, do you have something in mind? And then I'll share, I always have 3 main goals I'm working on. I call it my divine body, as I'm restoring my health and releasing weight. I have my divine relationship, as I'm attracting the love of my life and building on that. And then I have my divine business as I'm growing and attracting my soulmate clients. And so when I think of those things, emotions will arise around that. There's some positive and negative emotions around that. So what I ask you to do, Rebecca, do you have a project or a goal, one or more, in mind?
I do.
Okay, perfect. So I want you to close your eyes, and it's easier just to close your eyes to stay more focused. And I want you to think about what are some of the lower frequency emotions that are there for you when you think about your goal. So I want you to close your eyes and fully feel those lower frequency emotions. Feel them. Where are they at in your body? Get curious about it. What does it feel like? And get connected to that. So I'm going to give you a couple seconds. Just fully feel those feelings. Okay, great. It only takes a few seconds.
I feel it in
The
my
next,
chest, below my throat.
good. That's great. Like
I
that you
never
can
noticed that
identify that.
before. I've never noticed
Well,
that
and
before.
here's the deal about emotions. They will cycle through your body in about 90 seconds if you don't block them. And so it feels sometimes like, so people who know me know I've experienced quite a bit of loss. And sometimes it feels like it's going to break you, and it won't. If you could just hang in there with that emotion for 90 seconds, that's all it takes to pass through the body. So, but we always start with a negative emotion or the lower frequency emotion because we want to end on a higher note. A higher note. And so I don't want to lead them through an exercise and then just leave them hanging. So the next thing we're going to do is, and now I want you to think about the positive things about your goal. Like there was a reason that had you want this goal. So can you put yourself in the future where your goal is fulfilled and you have exactly what you want? And you could think about, and I don't want to give you the words that the positive feelings that you might have, but just imagine standing in the place in the future where you are, everything is fulfilled exactly how you want, and close your eyes for a minute. And now I want you to feel those high frequency positive emotions and feel those throughout your body. Get curious, like where are they living in my body and what does it feel like? What's the physical sensation? So close your eyes. I'm going to give you a few seconds to fully immerse into that too. Okay. That usually gets everybody in a better frame of mind. Okay, you ready? Okay, then the next step is we need a 10-second voice clip. Now, there's lots of different ways you can do this and be as creative as you want. The first time, though, when somebody's saying this, they may not feel as free just to speak for 10 seconds. So Lauren Swinson, our amazing founder, teaches us to say 3 different things. He says, start with the I am. So I would say, I am Connie Rose. Because two reasons he says that. So I am is one of the most powerful statements we could ever say. It's connected to our root chakra. And anything we say after I am is a declarative that makes a difference, right? Like we're owning it. Then by connecting us with our name, that it grounds us in the truth. Okay? So, like Rebecca, you're going to say, I am Rebecca Gable. The second thing you're going to say, according to Lauren, is those hard vowel sounds. They're in every world language, A, E, I, O, U. And what he also says is that it calls in the angels. So in my world, the more angels, the better. Why not call them in? So the third thing you're going to say is you're just going to simply count, because typically, like when you say the ABCs, it could conjure up memories of our childhood. Because when I first got the software, we didn't have any training. We didn't have anything. I was a beta tester, and like the software just came in a tablet in a box, and like good luck. And so I just started saying the ABCs. And then when Lauren was training us on this, he's like, you really don't want to say the ABCs because it'll connect us to that childhood memory when we were learning the ABCs. And so we want to keep the emotions focused on the emotions that we just were processing. Okay. So, but counting though typically doesn't have those emotional charges with it. So you just want to count until the 10 seconds is up. Okay. So you know what you're going to say. And so at this point, I will probably put that into the chat for them so they could read it on the chat if they don't have a notepad to write it down. Okay, so then I'm going to tell them what we're going to do next. So I'm going to click on this start scan button in a second. You're going to see a countdown, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I'm going to say 4, 3, 2, 1, and at the 0, I'm going to say go. And when I say go, you're going to see a little counter going. And at that point, that's when you're going to speak. Okay, you're going to say, I am Reba Gable, A-E-I-O-U, 1, 2, 3, 4, until you see it scan. It'll start scanning a body. Okay, any questions?
Sounds good.
Okay, here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I am Rebecca Gable, A-E-I-O-U, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Perfect. And then at this point, if you want to look at the bottom of the screen, it'll tell you what it's scanning. Now it's still in the InnerVoice scan, and it's right now it's scanning note A. No, now it's on G sharp vitals. And it's going to be cycling through the things that it's scanning in your body, how your emotional body is impacting your physical body. Then it's going to go right into vitals, scan, and the optimization. Then it'll go into the comprehensive scan and optimization. So can you hear me over the scan, Rebecca? Right. So I always confirm that. And then this is the time I take to kind of educate what's going on next. Okay. So when this scan is done, I'm going to take you to your InnerVoice scan. And we're going to go through the results. Now, all of this is really great information. But Rebecca, you know I'm not a doctor, and this does not diagnose anything. It is for information and education. Okay. And I'm going to explain to you the 3 big things to keep in mind when we look at the results. And this is for any scan that you have. Okay. So we're going to look at the InnerVoice today. So the 3 reasons that this cannot be diagnostic is number 1, this technology is scanning the physical and the field. Okay, so we don't know. It doesn't tell us if it's in the physical or if it's in the field. Now, within the field, when, quote, dis-ease comes in, now, even the AMA and the CDC will tell you 80 to 85% of all dis-ease has an emotional component. In my training in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, I've been taught that it's closer to 100%. I personally believe it's 100%. How could it not be? Our emotional body is around our physical body. It's like we're soaking it up. How could it not be, right? And so when dis-ease comes in our field, the outer part of our field is our spiritual body. And then moving closer is our mental body. And then moving closer up to our physical is our emotional body. And then it finally settles in the physical. That's when dis-ease comes in. Now, when dis-ease goes out, it will go from the physical to the emotional to the mental to the spiritual. But here's the thing. Sometimes it never gets to the physical. When things can be resolved and optimized in the field, guess what? They never get to the physical, which I believe is one of the reasons I no longer really get sick. I travel, I'm exposed to lots of different ecosystems, I have stress in my life, but because I deal with it in the field and in the physical, I rarely, knock on wood, get ill. So I think it's been 4 years, honestly, since I've had anything happen. And I've been using the software for about 5.5, so a little over 5. So repeated use of this technology will boost your immunity because of the scanning and optimization. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's the first reason we do not diagnose. We don't know if it's in the field or the physical. Number 1. Number 2, do you remember in the beginning, we did an aura shield? That was to keep that other people's stuff out of our field. Well, guess what? Like, I'm 53. I've had all kinds of people in my field. We did clearing and we did shield, and yet sometimes it still stays, right? So the things that show up in our report could not even be ours. Like, if you live with someone and it's like you see it on your report and it's like it really doesn't resonate with you at all, but boy, it sure sounds like my spouse or my partner or my child or my neighbor that was over here for 2 hours yesterday, right? Or I had lunch with a friend and she's dealing with whatever, and here it shows up on my scan. Well, guess what? The great news is that it's been scanned and optimized, and it can help clear that. It's not going to get in. This is why things are contagious, right? It's because other people's stuff shows up in the field and then it gets to the physical because it hasn't been optimized. So we don't know. It might not even be yours, right? And the quote treatment has been the scan and optimization. The optimization is the most powerful part. The scan gives us information, but then the optimization is the quote treatment. Okay, so then so it could be in the field, in the physical, it could be somebody else's. The third thing is, just like we inherit DNA from our ancestors, we also inherit energetic patterns. They are called miasms. Okay, so and the first I was taught about this, they said through 7 generations. That's a lot. That goes back hundreds of years. Then I heard Greg Raven speak, and he says 14 generations. So I don't know what is the accurate number, but I just know it's a lot. So, and we're clearing. You probably have heard of generational curses, generational blessings, like that. This is part of our opportunity to clear some of that for our lineage. So again, we don't know if it's field, physical, coming in, going out, somebody else's in our environment, or generational. So for those reasons, we cannot ever say that we're diagnosing anything. But here's the clue. This is what you want to look at. If you're concerned about something that shows up in your scan, you want to scan every day for about a month to 6 weeks. If you see, and you can track. Now, if you guys want a chart of how to track these things, for those of you who are on my team, it's on the team boards. For those of you who are not, reach out to me and I could send you this chart. You could track every day for 4 to 6 weeks to see, and if it doesn't ever disappear from your report, if it's day after day after day after day after day, at that point, I would say, and you're having symptoms, then that might be time to get a health professional involved. Okay? But when you see something one time, it's just information. It is definitely not a diagnosis. Now, if you are someone who gets anxiety over reading reports about stuff like this, don't look at the reports because one, it's not a diagnosis. Two, like this is meant to empower you. So if it's not going to be empowering to you to read the reports, then you know yourself more than I know you. Don't read them. The third thing is you've been optimized. What else is there to do? There's nothing else to do other than listen to your music. 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 You cannot overdo listening to your inner voice music. You cannot. So that takes us to our inner voice report. So I'm going to click on the logo again. And I'm not going to go over the whole easy scan results because it's not relevant. You've been optimized. We've dealt with all that. Okay. We're just going to look at the inner voice. And I'm going to teach you how to use the inner voice music because this is what's going to make a difference for you. Okay. So, first you're going to click on reports. And when you click on reports, a little email icon over here is going to show up. Okay. So you click on the email, and then I'm going to click on include this audio files, the pulse files, the tonal therapy. I like them in PDFs, and then I'm going to hit send. And so it is generating the audio files, is generating the reports, and you're going to get 2 emails, and it's not coming from me, it's coming from Solex in the AO scan. So both of your reports will start with inner voice report or inner voice audios. So you're going to get 2 different emails. So it's generating those. So it takes a little minute to do that. Now I will tell you, having Zoom, sharing a screen, it does take a little bit longer than if you were just doing this just on your own. Okay, but it's worth it. So, Rebecca, and I always tell people, look at your email. I want to make sure before we get off the Zoom that you have your files. So can you take a second and check your email for me?
Certainly. Okay, I have them both.
Perfect. And can you tell me
one is the
what they
PDF
say?
file, the other one is the tones.
Okay, so what is the subject line of each email?
The subject line is inner voice scan, and that has the report attached to the PDF. And the other one has inner voice scan audio and today's date, and it has the notes in there, like the 4 MP3 files.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So if you click on the one with the audios, you'll see the attachments for the audio files. It's going to have the Verdi grounding ones, and it's going to have the pulse one, and it's going to have the tonal therapy ones. So they just expanded Inner Voice again. We had Inner Voice, I call it 1.0 in the very beginning. And then Lauren, this is what I want you to know about Lauren Swenson. First of all, he is one of the most amazing, brilliant minds and loving hearts that I've ever known. And I consider him a friend, and I'm just so grateful to be aligned with him and this company. He is committed to always expanding the software. Like when I was a beta tester, we had about a third of what we have today. And so he's always expanding it, always improving it, and he has a commitment that it never go up in price. So when I was a beta tester, Rebecca, I was paying $199 a month for a third of what we have, and I was so grateful. Because for those of you who don't know my story, my son passed in March 16th, 2020, Nicholas, had a massive heart attack and was just instantly gone. And the impact on my body and my life was pretty significant. I ended up with severe depression. I ended up in a wheelchair. I couldn't move forward. My back and my knees were already not doing great. And like I said, there's emotional components to everything. So you might want to get curious about if you have any symptoms in your body. This inner voice is going to make a difference for those. I promise you. This is the technology that brought me from a wheelchair to a walker to a cane to here I am. I was on, I tried different, I was very depressed. Nicholas was the love of my life. He was my miracle baby. And it was just the darkest part of my life. And I tried medication, did not make a difference. I tried therapy and counseling, group things. Nothing made a difference until my friend Julie called and said, Connie, I think I might have found something that's going to make a difference for you. And that woman and that call saved my life. This company, so what we're going to go over next is so near and dear to my heart. And I just telling you this story because I want you to take this. Like people think, oh, it's just a song. Oh, I'm just going to listen to a song. Or I listen to those frequencies on YouTube. These are custom for you. The YouTube ones are great, but they're not custom for you, for today, for this time in your life. And it is so powerful. Now, you're going to need to use headphones with this technology. So we started with version 1.0, and it was good. And it was the one who took me from my wheelchair to here. Very powerful. Then Lauren enhanced it and gave us some features and benefits that I'm going to go over in a minute, where it allowed us to choose the waveforms, and there's benefits to that. And there's so many different things there. And I thought that was like, wow, like it got even better. And then in September of 2025, Lauren released Verdi grounding. I call that InnerVoice 3.0. And it took it to a whole other level, because in addition to what we had before, now we have solfeggio frequencies. Now we have rife frequencies. So look those up. Like I'm not going to talk about it here, but Rife, Royal Raymond Rife did this. He's done amazing things. Look him up, Google him. Those are the frequencies you're going to hear in this music. You're also going to hear Tesla healing frequencies. In addition to that, the Verdi scale is 432 hertz, which that also is grounding. That's also very healing. So we got all of this, and the way it's engineered, oh my goodness, this is why you have to use headphones. Lauren says if you don't use headphones, you're only getting about 3 to 5%. Why would you want to settle for 3 to 5% when you can have the whole deal, right? So this is why you want to use headphones. It's whole brain resonance, whole brain, the whole thing. So it's addressing. So one side of the headphone will affect different parts of the brain. The other headphone is going to address different parts of the brain. And this is the secret sauce, the power of it, that when you're listening to both, it will create a third sound in the middle of your brain. Nothing else ever does this. Nothing else does this. We're the only ones that have this technology. This is why it is so powerful. So you got to use headphones. I know people have opinions about that, and it's not always easy or convenient, but the results and the outcome, I promise you, is worth it. Okay. And it's 12 minutes, 12 minutes. Okay. So I recommend listening to it at least twice a day, morning, evening. Some people, and you're going to get some options here. Okay. So when Lauren first came out with Verdi grounding, we just had Verdi grounding and we got rid of the version 2.0. And the field said, we really want pulse back. We want pulse back. We want pulse back. And because this company is so responsive and generous with the field, they brought it back. So really now we have InnerVoice 3.1. So because we have the Verdi grounding and the pulse tones, and another whole new area is tonal therapy. So I'm going to go over all three. and show you how simple this is. Okay, so when you got your email, Rebecca, you could download these files individually and listen to them like on a playlist on your phone's device. You know, anywhere you could get listen to music, whether it's your computer, your iPad, your phone, whatever, right? If you have an old MP3 player, however you want to do it, just use headphones. So when you click on the link, so the email that has the MP3s, you just download those. The email that has the link, when you click on that link, it takes you to a page that looks just like this. This is how I prefer to listen to my music. So this is how simple it is. You click on the link, and guess what? You just hit Balancing Harmonics and hit play. That's it. Just hit play. With headphones. I'm going to turn it off because it's not making a difference for us. You're going to use headphones, but you just hit play. And it will show you. So it starts here. Let me show you. It starts there. It's about 3 minutes. And that's how you know which one is playing. The second, that's the highest note. So if you look down here at the chart, so it says A sharp was the most out of balance. And then you look at the chart, A sharp was 15.7. So that's the highest one. Now, I'll show you something else. Here it shows us A sharp is balanced by E. That's why it's yellow. We're looking for what balances and supports the note. So that's why there's 2 different notes listed. Okay. This is the first one. The second highest one is G sharp, and you can see that it was 14.0. The third highest one is right here. So it goes center, left, right is B at 12.1. And then the lowest one is the center note, the lowest note, which impacts the unconscious mind, is E. And if you look down here, E is 2.6. Now, I want to point something else out about the chart. You could see so the top 3 are over here, but the highest one was just this one octave, but overall it didn't make a difference overall, because overall it's still balanced. So you want to look at the numbers on top, not necessarily the bar graph, but it'll tell you some things. So our goal is to have them, in the average range. And within each one, there's 9 different octaves, and some of the octaves are not even present. So you could look at your very first octave here is only present on A sharp, but it's not present on the other ones. It's the second octave here at F sharp. There's just a little bitty little thing, but it's not present on the other ones. The third line is present in more. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and then the ninth octave, is just present on a couple of them. So this is very specific to you. This is not like anybody else's chart, right? So when we're going over the report in a minute, I'll do that at the end, you're going to see different zones. And it's going to say, let me just scroll down real quick to show you the top of one. Conflicting beliefs versus congruent beliefs. Well, because some of the lines are higher and some of them are lower, it's not saying it's one or the other. You're out of balance in both places, right? So I always make sure people know that too. So it is as simple as opening the link, hitting the play button, and just listening, put your headphones on. Okay. The second newest thing that we got is tonal therapy. That's on Verdi grounding still. And what tonal therapy is, it's just that tone. It's just the note. Again, you need to use headphones. It doesn't sound like a lot's going on, but here's the deal. We have 171,000 frequencies that's in our software, and our human ears can only hear about 4,000 to 6,000 of them. So they're also playing and we don't even know. Okay. So the tonal therapy, if you just want to hear the tone, and if you want to chant along with that tone, and we're going to talk a little bit about that on the next under pulse, but just resonating with that tone, this is what they use a lot in music therapy and sound therapy. So we have access to that now too. Now, Lauren told me this is the sine wave, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in Pulse, but the sine wave is so great for calming the nervous system. So then it goes on to the next one. So in 3 minutes, you're going to hear all 4. So you can see it lights up over here. After a few more seconds, then it's going to go back over to here, and then at the bottom. So tonal therapy is great especially if you want to hum along with it or chant, or we're going to talk more about that in a minute. That's what's really great for tonal therapy, especially if you want to use the enhanced full brain resonance part. Okay? Any questions at this point? Do you know how to access the music and play it?
That's very
It's
cool.
very
And
cool. And
I just clicked on that information thing and saw the that thing you showed us right there.
yes.
I love that because that makes it more clear for me. Like, if this is my color, then why is it this color on this screen? And it's just showing what the supportive note is. So that's very cool.
Yeah. And so think about it. There's 12 notes, there's 12 zones. So just like there's 12 numbers on a clock, there's, if you put like A at the top, A sharp at 1 o'clock, B at 2 o'clock, and go all the way around. So if A was on top, guess what? D sharp would be on bottom. It balances it out. So yeah, it's right there for us. Thank you for bringing that up. Any questions about anything on this screen? We're going to go over the reports in a minute, but let me, the most important, like I said, the whole point of this whole session is play the music, put it in, it's not going to work unless you put it in your ears with the headphones. Any questions about how to access and play the music?
Okay, the only question I had, and I think you touched on it about that, is the Verdi grounding versus the pulse tones. And I think you
Yep. So
kind
these are different. Yeah, these are different
Verdi
tabs.
grounding is overall with all
It's
of
the
all
whole
them.
brain resonance. Yeah.
If I
Verdi
want
grounding
to
is whole
focus
brain
on
resonance.
individuals, yeah, then the pulse is just to go in on individual tones. And I hadn't thought about using the voice with it. So I'm definitely going to try that next time.
Yeah, I have another training on the frequency waveforms, sine, square, triangle, and sawtooth.
Fine.
And I'll do a little brief overview of each one. And there's I have a training video on my my YouTube channel that's just on the benefits of each of those waveforms, because it's like it gets even better. I mean, it's so I just, this is my playground. I love it.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
That's the questions I had. Oh, I'll let you continue through the inner voice session, and then I'll see if I still have a question after you cover that part.
Okay, great. Next is Pulse. That was InnerVoice 2.0, but now it's part of InnerVoice 3.1. And so this is what it used to look like when we had it before. And
Wait a minute, didn't it? That went away, and you said he brought it back?
Yes, it went away when we got Verdi grounding, because I'm going to tell you, I'm not an expert in all of this. I know a lot, and I'm not the ultimate expert. Lauren is. And when Lauren says Verdi grounding is the best to use, I just listen to Lauren. Man, that man is a genius. I just listen to what Lauren says to do, and I just do it. And there's people in the field that were committed to the old way. And because here's the thing, our brains go to what's familiar.
Yeah.
And so they went to what's familiar and made some noise. And because they like this better. Now, Lauren will tell you, and there's a video, if you go to Solex LLC, there's a video that Lauren did in, I want to say early November, in October maybe, where Lauren Swinson talks about the benefits of Verdi grounding, InnerVoice 3.0. He talks about how superior it is. And then about a few weeks later, then he said, okay, we'll bring it back. And even in the video where he brings this back and introduces when he introduced the tonal therapy, he still reiterated Verdi grounding, balancing harmonics, by far superior. Best inner voice product that we have. It's whole brain resonance. I mean, literally addresses everything.
Awesome that Lauren listened to the field and gave that back. I prefer, like you said, for like when I'm at home and I'm just really wanting to focus, I love the Verdi grounding. But
Yes.
when I'm just doing house tours around the house, I like to be able to go to the Pulse and pick piano or pick,
Yes.
neuro
Yes.
Yep. I love that he gave us
next.
all of it. I love having it all.
Yes, he's amazing. So there's a lot of options. So here's the thing, though. The great news about Pulse is there's so many options. The bad news about Pulse is there's so many options and it can get overwhelming, especially for new people. So for them to be able to say, here's Verdi grounding, it's our best audios available, and all you have to do is click on the link and hit play. You don't have to know anything else. You don't have to study anything else. You can just hit play and get results. Get profound results. I have had people doing Verdi grounding who have had significant pain, been on pain medication, like we're talking opiates and muscle relaxers for 20 years. 20 years. Significant body pain. Listen to Inner Voice. The pain subsides. And now when he has pain come back in his body, he was able to go off of his opiate medication and his muscle relaxers after being on it for 20 years on disability. 20 years. Listen to Inner Voice. The pain subsides. Now, this, I'm not saying that's going to happen to you. I'm saying I've heard it over and over and over and over again. And this was my dear friend. This was his experience. And so with Verdi grounding, okay, I had results with 1.0, which we don't even have 1.0 because it's not nearly as effective. And Verdi grounding is more effective. Now, if you don't want, like you said, if you want to have more control and you want to get in there and play and discover and explore and all the things, I do have a video from probably a year ago that talks just about Pulse. You can go back into Connie Rose up on YouTube and see that video, and it will show you a deep dive on just the Pulse. Like, we're going to go over it today, but it's a deep dive just on Pulse, okay? Because there's a lot of things, but there's also a lot of things to learn. And when you're first introducing this to someone, I'm a big fan of the KISS method. I say, keep it simple, sweetheart.
Oh, sweetheart is better.
Sweetheart is better, right? So we want to keep it simple, sweetheart. And if you're someone who wants to play around and learn, Pulse is great. Okay, now he will still say, so just like I told you with Verdi grounding, there's something in the left, something in the right, and it creates a third note in the head. Pulse does not do that. Pulse is left and right, and that's it. Just to be clear. So there's pros and cons of each, right? Well, I don't know of any cons of the Verdi grounding other than, I don't even know. Like, well, here's the con. So if you just 5 minutes, you could do 5 minutes of Pulse and get all four. When we were with Verdi grounding, if you just wanted to select each one at a time, you just click on the individual colored box. And Lauren says you want to choose, if you only have 3 minutes, choose the high one or go to the low one. And just click on that box and it'll just play that box. If you have no box selected and balancing harmonics, it creates a playlist and it'll just keep going. Now, there are some older iPhones that if you do this on an iPhone, an older model, and depending on how your phone settings are, when the phone goes dark, it'll stop. So that's just a matter of your device. And so Google how to fix that, and that'll fix that. I can't go into all the devices now, but if you click on balancing harmonics, it will loop. Okay. Now so you could, if you just had 3 minutes, choose low or high. If you have 5 minutes, you could go to Pulse. Now you're not going to get whole brain resonance, but you're going to get all four songs. Okay. So just like I clicked on those individual boxes before on Verdi grounding, I could click on the individual boxes here. So if I wanted to focus on one of those, like if I saw the report and thought like, so here we got the highest number is 15.7, the next one's 14, then the next one's 12. Now, if I had one that was like 15 and the next lowest one was like 8, like there was a huge gap, and I only had a few minutes, I would focus on the one that's the most out of balance. Okay? If there's a big, large gap. And then I would just focus on the one. And again, the goal is to have everything, balanced out. So these are more of a slope versus like real high and then drop. Okay. Same thing with the lowest one. Your lowest one was 2.6. The next one above that looks like it's 4. So again, just a 1.4 difference, not a huge difference. So then I would choose the lowest one, which is over here, right? E. So again, you could just click on the box and it'll start playing. Okay. If none of the boxes are are selected, you would hit the pulse cycle down here. You could run it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or continuous. That's how you get the loop, like the playlist effect. Okay, so if you just click on the play button. It's that simple. Now, if you notice, it's going to go through, it's going to cycle through these different things. So I'm going to show you. This is like a mixer. So this is the music. Now I'm going to tell you a secret. The music makes no difference. The music is just for entertainment purposes only. Okay? But so we don't even have to play the music to get the benefit, but you can. So I'm going to keep the music down real low so we can talk. Okay? Here is the waveform. So again, I can make it louder or softer, but with a waveform, this is the therapy. Don't ever turn this one off. So if you turn this down to 0 and we're only listening to music, you're not getting the benefit. So you want to have it playing at least a little bit. Okay? So this is volume for the music, volume for the waveform. You could select auto mix and it'll just do a mix for you of these different boxes here. Let me go back to what the original one was. And then let me talk about the different boxes here. Okay, so that's an auto mix feature. So if you want to mix it up a little bit, you can do that. Now, here's the 4 different components that you can play with. So the first one is how often the waveform pulses. The default is Tesla 369. So if you watch the screen, you'll see the waveform pulse 3 seconds long, then 6 seconds long, then 9 seconds long. 8-8 is, again, it's 8 and an 8. 8 and then 8. Or 2-2-8. Here, this one is like a heartbeat. It's every second. Do you see that? 1, 1, 1. Okay? Or you could do the short, short, long, short, short, long, short, short, right? Or constant. And it just plays. Okay? Any questions about the frequency of the waveform? Total personal preference. Okay?
Okay, so there's not one that's better than the other. It's just preference.
Personal preference. Okay? The next thing is the music notes. There's the different song options that you mentioned earlier. So if you're feeling like you want something calmer, like if you're going into a meditation and just want to meditate, you could play one of these calm ambient songs. However, in the morning, let's say you're having a hard time getting them up and going, or mid-afternoon slump, you could go to upbeat and like it'll get you going. And there's not a whole lot of quote therapeutic value per se in these, other than music is always therapeutic. It is. So there's always some kind of benefit, but the real benefit of why you're doing inner voice is the emotional balancing. So this does not affect the emotional balancing part of the healing part of the inner voice, and it creates the environment of the music that you're listening to. Okay, so it's just a drop down menu and you select which one you want. Okay, I'm going to save this one for last. Because I have quite a few things to say about it. This is the octave. So do you remember how I said it read, there's 9 octaves that it read? So this will play back because our ears could only, again, hear so much. So I'm going to turn this up a little bit. The lower the number, the lower the octave. So like on the piano, it's those low notes on the left. And you can look at the waveform, it's slower. Okay. Now it goes up to 6, which is really high and very fast. The default is 4. Now I will tell you, I keep it at 4. Sometimes I'll do 3 or 5, one above or below, only when I'm singing or chanting along with the music. Okay. So I'm going to turn this down again. Okay. So any questions about how to choose any of this so far?
That's great. Some things I didn't know yet, so thank you for covering those.
Yes. Now, here's the fun part. These are the waveforms. The default is triangle. There's also square, sawtooth, and sine. Okay? I wasn't planning on doing this, or so I would have had this up already. Let me pull up. I'm going to go to boards. So this is a resource I have for my team. So if you're on my team, you can go to boards and go to InnerVoice. If you're not on my team, I do sell access to this. So reach out to me if you're interested in that. But we have a waveform chart, and I also have created a book for it. So these are things that you could download and send to your clients. And then I have a video, the training video on the forms. Okay, and they're hacks that you could use. And so I'm going to go over them briefly. So the triangle wave, it talks about the frequency characteristics, but these are the most important columns here, the benefits and what they're best for. So the triangle wave is gentle stimulation, supports emotional balance and steadiness. It's great for emotional processing, grounding, and transitions. That's the default. The square wave, I was using the square wave, and it's great when you're dealing with physical issues because research shows that it boosts stem cell production. So stem cells are those magic parts of our that God gave us to form where it's needed, like the repair for where it's needed. As we age, I'm 53, as we age, you have less and less stem production. So for me, healing my knees and my back, I would choose square wave because it helps with all kinds of stuff around the physical too. And it also helps with high energy stimulation, mental alertness, focus, clarity. So things like ADHD, cognitive fatigue, energy boost. That's when you want to choose square. Okay. Sawtooth. Oh my goodness. Sawtooth is great for depression, stagnation, emotional stuckness. And if you ever are stuck in like a procrastination mood, I don't know if that ever happens to you or if that's just me. And I notice in the morning, I'm not a morning person yet. I don't know if I'll ever be. And so sometimes it's a little hard for me to get out of bed. And my little trick, my workaround is I'll go into the scanner because there's different places where you could choose the waveforms, just so you know. So you could go to into Cephi and AO Minerals, AO Tunes, and AO Essential Oils. You can choose the waveforms there as well as InnerVoice, where we're at in InnerVoice, okay? So, Sawtooth, you could choose either a frequency or InnerVoice, put it on Sawtooth, and I'm telling you, it gets you moving. It is the best thing I found for procrastination because I'm like, okay, I really got to get out of bed. Like, I need to get moving for the day, and I'll put that Sawtooth on, and man, my body just naturally wants to move, which is very interesting to me. I love, like, everything is a frequency, right? So also, if you're stuck in a deep depression, Sawtooth will make a difference there. It's for breaks up energy stagnation, increases motivation. Okay. Now, this one down here, I think as a society is the best sine wave. And this is why Lauren made all of the Verdi grounding music in sine wave. At a Day of Discovery, when he announced this, I got to speak to him right afterwards, and I said, Lauren, I just did all this research on waveforms, and I loved that we had waveforms and we could use them, and I still get that we could use them over here, but I really liked them over here. And he said, and that was before I listened to it with headphones. The first time I listened to the InnerVoice Verdi with headphones, I literally just started crying because it's like therapy without having to speak. I'm going to tell you, this InnerVoice 3.1 is a gift from God. So I said, sine waves was really helping me. And he goes, oh, great news. All the music in Verdi is in sine wave form. So sine wave. So we are a society that is dealing with so much anxiety, especially since COVID. So much anxiety. And I had never experienced anxiety until over the summer, like about 6 months ago. I went through a personal, I would say, crisis. And all of a sudden I had anxiety, and I thought, what is this? Like, where is this coming from? I'm 53. I had never experienced that. I speak in front of things. I'm a performer. I'm a musician. Never had stage anxiety. Nothing. Been in musicals. Nothing. So this anxiety was like, what in the heck is going on? And so that's when I got into the waveforms, and I discovered that sine wave is exactly what your field and your physical need to calm down. It addresses anxiety. It helps with sleep. And I was having sleep issues too. It's great for meditation. And so it's harmonizing, relaxing, reduces tension, supports emotional processing also. So, and then, like I said, I have a book. Maybe it'll show up. Oh, there's the InnerVoice hacks, which we're going to go over next. There's a book available that I made. It's also in the boards. It has the form, and it has some tips on each section. So this is a resource for you and your clients that you could send this to them. And here's the hacks. And it has the video that goes along with it. Okay. So let's go back over to, here we go. So those are the why you would want to choose, depending on what your goal is, what waveform. Okay. Any questions on that? I'm going to go over the hacks in a minute.
Yeah. Awesome. That's good so far.
Okay. So if you are wanting to deal, so for me, I created these hacks around the sine waveform because I was dealing with anxiety and nothing was working. No traditional things were working. And so I started researching it, and let me pull this up and go through these hacks real quick. Okay. You could just listen to the right waveform. Just listening to the music will make a difference. I say turn up the volume and turn down the music if you want to just hear the waveform. Okay? That's just the first little hack. Just choose the right waveform. Simple. The second thing is you could hum along with the music, because humming the tones reinforces the balance in your energy field while stimulating the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve, so important, longest nerve in the body, helps regulate your everything. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, calms down that anxiety quickly. I mean, quickly. So it is as simple as hitting play, making sure the sine wave's there, and you want to match the pitch. Now, this is where I change the octaves because this is pretty low for my voice. So if I move it up to 5 and humming anything will make a difference. And it's simple as humming. Like, it's humming. It takes no additional anything, right? Right? That's where I would change the octave. Okay.
Cool.
Isn't that great? Now then I'm like, well, if this is good, like I'm always about good, better, best. So listening to it and humming is good, and you'll get results. And as an NLP master coach, I know the power of our words. Our words create our world, right? So you could repeat and chant a prayer or some like Om, Amen, anything that's going to even further enhance that. So literally, instead of just humming, or you can use a short phrase, like if like God is good, if that calms you down. I'm gonna wait until the next note. God is good. Amen. I am loved. I am safe. Right? Those words it's like these little short affirmations. Okay? Then, the next little hack is you could sing your affirmations. So, we have part of our software is so powerful, MindSync. And so during the session, I'll tell them, like, this is what you can do. We have this other session. For me, I charge $99, and you get 3 MindSync recordings, plus you get InnerVoice. And so if you want to do that, we could do that. It's just a way to introduce another part of the software. And so the affirmations, you could sing your affirmations. And so, and then I have a whole other training on how to create affirmations. So that's available too, is singing your affirmations, right? So literally, I tell people, anything you want, we can have with our software and our tools. Really. It's just a matter of our imagination and brainstorming with people. So that's how I use, those are little hacks that I use. I want to see here. I thought I had, okay. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions about any of this?
Not right now. Sounds great.
Okay. Yes. So there's lots, but do you see how there's way more options in Pulse? And sometimes a confused mind takes no action.
Mm-hmm.
So with Verdi grounding, you just hit play. Now, if you're dealing with some symptoms, anxiety or pain, that's where I would bring in the waveforms. Okay? Okay. Now, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to briefly go over the reports and how to read the reports. So they're going to get a PDF and they're going to have all this information about InnerVoice, about how it works, how to use InnerVoice, talks about color therapy. That's why there's the different colors, because everything's a frequency. And then here's the chart again. And then here's our report. Now the reports are broken up in two parts. There's the universal information, which means everyone with A sharp out of balance is this zone, conflicting beliefs versus congruent beliefs. There's positive and negative emotions affiliated with that. Those are universal. And it's not saying you just have one or the other. Remember the chart? There's different values, right? And then this is how it's showing up in the body and how this zone and this imbalance is impacting this part of the body. Okay? Mostly it's the respiratory and the digestive system and then sex organs. The color is yellow. Now, if you don't have, most people don't have yellow color therapy glasses, they could think about yellow, wear yellow, whatever, right? Look at yellow. And if you want to sell them a set of color therapy glasses, you could do that too. Now, the things under the yellow boxes, the colored boxes, are what's personal to you. So we have universal stuff on top every time. We have personal stuff on bottom every time. Again, we do not diagnose. Period. Okay. So the emotions that it's out of balance is overambitious, perfectionism, and I know you.
I was going to say, this is like spot on right now.
Yeah. Nervous exhaustion. This time of year, I think that shows up a lot. So, and it's no judgment. Like I always tell people, because sometimes they're embarrassed about what shows up. There's no judgment. I've had every single one all day, every day, all the time. Like, and the great thing is now you have something to do about it. Now we have a tool that's not only going to address all of these issues under conflicting beliefs versus congruent beliefs. We now have a tool that's going to calm and balance those emotions. How freaking awesome is that?
Yeah.
Like, that's what you want. And you don't have to give me details, Rebecca, but remember how we looked at those goals that you had?
Yep.
Can you see how balancing this specifically is going to make your goals even happen faster?
Yes. That's pretty
Isn't that
specific.
cool?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? That's so cool. So, yeah. So that's why I add that little extra piece to, like get more bang for your buck, right? So then the next thing is vitals. And vitals are just things how this is affecting your body again. And again, we're not diagnosing anything. When organs show up, those are not actually the organ specifically as much as it is the meridian. Okay? Mm-hmm. Then it shows potential causes and then imbalances and suggestions. Now, here's some suggestions, but unless you see the same thing over and over and over, that's not priority. Priority is listen to the music. Always. Priority, listen to the music. Okay? Now, just by looking at yours, I will say, it says increase minerals, increase minerals, increase minerals. Mm-hmm. So that's something you might want to consider because it shows up more. Now, I don't know what the rest of your reports say, but we got 3 for 3 here. And then this is a great opportunity Solex has for minerals, the best mineral supplement I've ever seen. It's liquid. It's called Solex Gold. Our gold drops fulvic and humic acid and all these minerals in it. So good, so super absorbable by the body. And I will tell you, our products, like our flagship product is this software, which that's the main income for our company because we have such a stable base for that. They're so smart on how they develop this company. They also developed products and supplements to support what shows up in the scans and to help with overall vitality in the body. Because we don't have to rely on the supplements and the products as a revenue source, we're able to sell those at a very competitive price. And when Kai and Lauren and the whole Solex corporate team decide we're going to bring a product to market, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure it's better than anything else out there. That's why when I say our Solex Gold is better than anything out there, I know for a fact it's better than anything out there, number one. Number two, they make sure the product is going to be priced competitively and cheaper than what else is out there. So they're getting a good deal. It's the best out there. It is cheaper than anything else. And so because of, and they won't, or if they can't meet those two criteria, we're not going to have it in our back office. We're just not going to sell it because other companies are doing a good job with whatever that is, right? So this is a great place to further serve your clients and say, oh, it's just saying increased minerals. If you want more information, we have something about that. I could give that to you. And then that's it. Like, I don't really say anything else. Okay. Any questions about how the reports are laid out?
I'm glad you deep dived into this because I remember the first time you and I met, you were showing me suggestions, and I haven't been able to find it again until now. You're pointing it out directly under the notes. I wasn't looking there, so now I know where to find it.
Yep. So the first three reports, I'm not going to go through the second and the third because they're exactly the same. This is your personal information for your reports. This is the hormone centers. You could just see that. Then the last one is unconscious. So I will tell you, almost always, I mean, I've been doing this for over 5 years. Anyone has never said to me, boy, those reports are so far off, I don't resonate with any of it. Almost always, I hear spot, just like you said, perfect. I didn't ask you to say that, but you spot on, right? And how grateful it is that we have a solution. Now, when it comes to the unconscious mind, people may or may not be aware. Like if there's ever a thing like, I'm not sure, that's where it's going to show up. So that's what we have here. And so I just distinguish the last one's the unconscious one. I'm going to pull up our little checklist that we have to make sure we're all on the same page. And again, if you're on my team, this checklist is under InnerVoice for everybody. Now, I will say, since we have InnerVoice 3.1, it doesn't talk about both systems yet, but it's the same thing. We clear, we shield, we ground. We do InnerVoice, we email the audios, they play using headphones, all that's the same. Teach them how to play the audios and review all, we just did that. Ask if they have any pain, and I also say, or anxiety, because here's the deal. Our society is at I'm going to say almost a crisis when it comes to pain and anxiety. And these two things are something that people will actually invest in to get relief. And we have the solution for it. So I'm going to go over a pain relief session, if that's okay with you, and I'll do a anxiety. So this is an add-on at the end if they have pain or anxiety. Mm-hmm. Okay. So for a pain relief session, we start with the same thing. It's clear, shield, ground, InnerVoice. Now, if I was doing a full session with you, I would have you take a moment, put your headphones in, and listen for the 12 minutes. And then I would go do something else while you were doing that 12 minutes. Okay? So we're just going to pretend that you did the 12-minute odd InnerVoice. Okay? And then, so if you have pain, we'll do this. And if you don't have pain, we'll just pretend. Okay? So is there pain anywhere in your body?
Lower back.
Lower back. Okay. Now, I will tell you, in the InnerVoice folder, we have a grief relief session, an anxiety relief session, and a pain relief session also. Like I said, in my world, I deal with a lot of grief. I interact with a lot of other grieving parents. So that's why I created the grief relief session. So let's go to the pain relief session. Again, it starts with what we just have already done, and then we go to here. you want to erase. Okay, so we go back to the scanner, and under Cephy is erase. Okay, now we can do this a couple different ways. You can log in if to the software, do Zoom on your phone, and then you'd be on the computer and on your phone, and then you would run, like the erase would show up here. However, what I will tell you, we're now working with Dr. Nadia Lutz. God, I love that woman. And she has shared that you don't have to put the software, the device, on the actual area. Although that does work really well. Like if I'm in extreme pain, I will take my tablet. I use the software on a tablet. It's best to always, so you could run it on a computer, you could run it on your phone, you could run it on your tablet. I will tell you it's faster and better if you're mobile on a tablet that's not running anything else. My phone has like 20 tabs open. So does my computer. And so like my tablet, I just use it for that. And you can get a good Android tablet off of Amazon for less than $100. For me, I always invest in a tablet to have a tablet. So if I was in person, and I would do it on the tablet, that's what I did when I came over to your shop, was on a tablet. On the computer though, where you're in Illinois, I'm here. So literally what you can do is, again, the intention's everything. So what I want you to do is I want you to touch your screen where the fire is going to be going in a second, not yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to imagine that erase. So erase takes out anything that's not inherently supposed to be there. Okay? So when I erase, when I go to imprint frequencies into my water, into my jewelry, into my homeopathic pellets, when I'm making my own homeopathic remedies, I erase first. Okay? So it dawned on me early on, well, if it takes away things that are not supposed to be there, guess what? Pain is not supposed to be in our body either. It's an alert signal to have us pay attention to something. And let's pay attention and get rid of it, right? So so before we hit start, let me go back to the chart. Maybe. It takes longer when you're, okay, here we go. Here at the top, I ask people area of pain. So I'd put down back and the pain level. You want to assess on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the pain level? So Rebecca, on a scale of 1 to 10 in your lower back, what's the pain level?
4.
4. Okay, great. Not great that you're in pain, but thank you. 4. Okay. So what we're going to do is I want you to touch the fire with your hand, and you're going to imagine it sucking the pain from your back through your body out and erase it, like burn it up. So when you hit start, it takes about 10 seconds. And so I like to work in, like, I love Tesla and I like the whole 369 series. So we're going to run it 3 times. This is the second time. And again, the power of visualization. Like, so imagine all of that pain being burned away, all of that pain leaving your body out into the fire. Just, it's going out. It's going out. It's releasing. Now, this is what I'm also going to tell you. We're going to do 3. And then we're going to reassess. So have you noticed anything? Because here's the goal, Rebecca. The goal is, first, we got to loosen it up. So sometimes, most of the time, the pain decreases. However, it also could increase temporarily. And I let people know, I'm not trying to plant anything into their minds. I just am letting them know there's a concept that is real called retracing. So if you, just like I asked you, it's a 4 now. Well, I'm sure in the past, it's probably been more than a 4. Mm-hmm. So if you would have a graph that graphed your pain level, it would go across, right? Well, what retracing is, it goes backwards. It like rewinds. And so it might go higher before it goes lower. Okay. Mm-hmm. However, it's temporary. I will not leave you there. Okay. And the third location, so it could go higher, lower, or it could change locations. So now when you think about your body, do you notice, is it more pain, less pain, or did it change locations? Or it could stay the same.
Maybe it's the same right now, but I was only touching it with my fingers, and it kind of strains my back reaching across to my screen to push it.
Well,
my
and that's why I
So
like
I was
having.
wondering if I can go on my phone and do it that way.
Yes, absolutely. And then you like what I've done for a long time is I just have it on the device and I put it directly over the pane. The other thing that Nadia taught me, so I'm going to use my shoulder as an example, so because you can see it on the video, is with the erase and with the frequencies. Again, we're physical, but we're also a field. So I would touch the pane if I'm doing it on my body, and then I'd go into the field. And then I touch the pane and go into the field. And then I touch the pane and go into the field. And I touch the pane and go into the field. So I'm clearing not just the pane, but also the field. So most people don't realize, just because we're not taught this, the field is actually more important than the physical. It feels like the physical is more important because we can feel it, and we can't see the field. But if we can see the field, everything that's going on in the field is what's going to be manifesting in the physical. Does that make sense?
Yes. Holy cow. Okay, I'm logging into my phone.
And I'm going to also just run it here because you are the target. That's another thing. This is our software, and I tell people when I'm going through the software with people, I will go click on the profile and say, look, you could upload your supplements and therapies and see and scan your body and see what you need. Because I will tell you, my first month with Solex, I saved more in supplement savings because I didn't need to take everything every day because my scanner told me what I needed, that it more than paid for the software. So that's a huge savings right there. You could have unlimited profiles. You could use this for your family, your friends, your neighbors, your clients, one subscription. You could also do your four-legged family. So it does dogs, cats, birds, horses. You could do your home. Like in your bank account, I send, every day I send frequencies to my bank account. I send abundance frequencies to my bank account. I send frequencies of peace to my home. You know, I send motivation, like success frequencies to the gym when I'm at the gym. So, and then you can do groups. So I just briefly go over the profile so that they could see all the value of the, not just the session, but the, like why invest in the software? Like what else can it do? You know? So do you have it running? So I'm going to hit start again and just, so it's going to go here and it's going to go on your phone. And so I do 3, 6, 9. I just let it run. Each erase cycle is about, 10 seconds. Now, if I was doing this for anxiety, I would ask, perfect. I would ask the client, where is the anxiety in your body? Just like I asked you where it was in your, like the pain. So a lot of people, the most common response I get is over the heart, over the throat, or in the your thoughts, in the frontal cortex. So I'll have them do the erase on those areas for anxiety. Okay.
That's cool.
So are you noticing as you're running the erase on your back, are you noticing any movement at all, whether location or higher or lower?
I think it's actually easing.
Yeah. Because that's what it does. It's like Star Trek. We haven't been taught.
And erase. And imprint is where I see, that's a whole other section, another session I need to get into.
Yeah, we have training videos
on my
on that.
ring and whatnot. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, training. All of our team training videos are in the boards.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back through these now and start playing with all these toys.
Yes. Okay, so you noticed the difference is decreasing, decreasing, decreasing?
Yeah, and I'm gonna do this before my next massage session, like my sciatica.
Yes.
And if she doesn't have to go so hard, I'm gonna know that's a sign.
Yes. Okay, let me go back. So I try to get the pain level as down to 1 or 2 or gone. Now, if it goes away, then we don't have to go any further. And if it's just low, it gets lower, lower, lower. Oh, wrong tab here. Okay, so then I have the ultimate pain relief list, which is down here at the bottom. So I have that pain list. So I would go then under Cephy, custom playlist, as I already built. And again, you can have as many, tell your prospect, you can have as many playlists as you want. So I have this master pane list, and I do simultaneous.
That you can build and they are just there?
Yeah, once you build it and save it, it's there.
Oh, goodness gracious. I have got to do this.
Yes, I have it. I have them specifically for people, and I also have it by topic.
Nice.
And it's unlimited. Just like we have unlimited clients, we have unlimited playlists. So, yeah, the value of our software is amazing. So
you go over to the AO scan thing, and then you go to Cephy custom playlist, and then you
hit the
plus sign, and that's how you build them.
Cephy custom playlist. To add a playlist, you just click on plus, put the title, and then you just click on the ones that you want down here. And again, there's
training. Light bulb is coming on. There's a light bulb going on.
There's training on this. We have Solex University, which trains us on all the different modules of our software that comes for free in our subscription. And then there's also training on our team. So that's where the playlist is. So a master playlist. So let me do this. I'm going to run it for 20. So I do simultaneous because we can do individual, simultaneous. Lauren said we just need 20 seconds. So I'm going to run 20 seconds. Now, typically what I'll do is we'll do, because it's going through the field, because you're the target. And if I had it on my device, like if I was on Zoom on my phone, I would do it on the front of the pane, the back of the pane. And if it's still not moving, go from the pane to the field, clear the field. Okay. Now, if it's still stuck, because it didn't get there overnight, sometimes it's not resolved overnight. So then I would go to AO Tune. And these are the frequencies I would use in AO Tune. I would scan it first. So AO Tune will actually tell us a lot of information. So go to Cephy, go down to AO Tune, and then I would hit scan. And we're going to see what frequency in AO Tune you could best benefit from. And it's saying the Schumann frequencies. And so I would go, here is one of those places where we could choose our wave type. Because it's pain, I would choose square. If it was anxiety, I would choose sine. Okay? We're going to go to just 30 seconds. Imprint. So I always start with the one that it says to scan. While that's going, I will show you. So I scan first. Then I go to Sky, Flower of Life, Guilt, Fears. Those are the ones I would use in AO Tunes. Then on homeopathic, I would go to the symptoms. I'll show you that next. And then I would imprint that pain. Then if they had Cephy dots, I would imprint the pain frequency into, here, I'll show you. Okay, so the next thing I would do is I would go to homeopathics, go by symptoms, and find where the pain is. So here's back pain. I would click on simultaneous. And I would do the 20 seconds there. So you can get really specific about what the frequency is. You can also go under Cephy. All of the physical stuff is under frequency. We could go there. Like there's different, so many different, there's so many different things we could do here, right? So
at any time.
Yes. So meanwhile, like here's back pain here. 20 seconds on that. Again, it's like what's not working. Like just keep going until we get the relief that you're looking for. Sometimes, most of the time, I will tell you, I get rid of pain just on erase. And then you go under Cephy dots, under Cephy, and then Cephy dots. We have a pain, and if you click on I, it'll tell you. It's a proprietary frequency mix that enhances the body's normal ability to respond to pain in a more natural process. So you could click on do pain there, Now here's another one. Cellular restore. Look at this. It helps with stem cell activity and glutathione production. That's a big freaking deal.
Yeah, it is.
So we could run it there too. So there's lots of different options. So if it doesn't, like, just keep going. And then I always end.
I report the other day.
Let me show you the anxiety one real quick because it's very similar concept. So the anxiety playlist, again, we start with clear, shield, ground, easy scan, listen to the inner voice, erase, and then you would imprint the anxiety. So erase on the area of the anxiety, imprint the anxiety relief playlist, just like we did this pain one. Now here's some other ones that for Ineo tunes, these are the ones that help with anxiety. Same thing with homeopathic symptoms. Same thing with Sephi Dot, like there's the mood frequency. And then we always end with the joy playlist, Into the Heart. There's something about that. So if you go under Sephi, you have to build the playlist, but the playlist is listed in the chart. And so, again, click on simultaneous, and like either it's going to you, you're the target, or if you had it on your device, if you're on Zoom, I would have you place it over your heart, and we would just do 20 seconds. I'm going to play this whole one out because I love it. This just helps me breathe better. Okay. And then that's it. So if I go back to the inner voice session checklist, so we imprinted joy into their heart. So it's pain relief session or anxiety, if that they have that. And this is a great way to say, do you know, if you don't have any, do you know of anybody? Because I'll do a complimentary session for them too. And then we end with like imprint playlist. Then I always ask, can you share your results? Okay, I'm gonna follow up with you because follow-up is really important. I'm gonna follow up with you, and will you let me know what you're noticing by listening to your inner voice music? Because I would love to share your testimony. And then, but then I ask, can I have permission to keep following up with you? Because I'm going to see how it's going, because I care. And then, do you know anybody that would like a session like this? I ask for a referral. So that's the inner voice session checklist.
Awesome.
So that was a lot. We got a lot of information there. Do you have any questions?
You just answered questions that I had written down before our meeting. One of the questions was how to create a playlist, and you just showed me how to create a playlist.
Well, and can you see the value that you're providing for someone?
Yes.
And you're also sharing the software in a way that benefits them, provides a solution to them without being salesy. Like, we don't have to sell anything. We are just informing, educating, inspiring people what's possible, because the world doesn't know about this. You know, we launched in January of 2021. We still don't have, you know, we have such a small fraction of people that even know about this advanced technology. We are in such a beautiful position. Like, I get paid to bless people. That's what we get paid to do. And it solves their problems, you know? And so, you know, we have this, I know I've sent it to you, and again, it's in our team boards where we have the, under AO scanner, we have this list, and it's like 50 some pages of frequencies. And so it's like, if you want to talk to somebody and want them to know what our software can do, I always send this list as a follow-up. And so that they can see, like, you know, do you know anybody that has, like, just look at this first page. There's 54 pages. If you just looked at page 1, who do you know that has pain? Who do you know that needs recall and memory and focus? Or need breathing? Or like, who doesn't want abundance? Who doesn't want EMF shield? Who doesn't want gratitude, health, strength, recovery? I mean, just this first little box, right? And then you look at this quantum affirmations is dealing with the physical. And in quantum affirmations, we have, let me look, 455 physical things that are going on. 455. But just on the first page, the first 36. Oh no, this is quantum affirmations. Then it goes into quantum frequency. The first page, like, addiction. Who do you know that's dealing with addictions? Everybody knows someone dealing with addictions. Allergies. anxiety, arthritis, asthma, common cold. Sweet Jesus, we're going into Christmas and winter season. Compulsive behaviors, depression, diabetes, weight management. I mean, like, pick one. You could build a whole entire business around PMS, prostate. One. Relationship enhancement, insomnia, male enhancement, mastering stress, migraines. Pick one. Pick one on the first page. But then when you go into the physical stuff, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So I always send this quantum frequency list as a follow-up. If you go into our Sharing Solex page, I have a sales funnel. So like here we have the inner voice session and how to promote that. Then step 2 is here's the follow-up resources. So I created a landing page for you to send out that has the description of the video, the Cephi list, learn more about the software, how to get your 6-day pass, join our Telegram channel. Like, this is for the public. Anybody that wants to read more and learn more, they could click on this link and get our testimonial channel. I'm ready to enroll, and then it'll take you to your page. And you could edit this in your own folder, and there's a whole other training on boards. Here's asking for follow-up referrals. Just checking in, and here's a little message for you. I created this document, why the AO scan technology is worth more than $149 a month. Just like I mentioned before, supplement savings. There's tax benefits. I'm not an accountant, but for an annual $49 fee, you have access to over 475 tax benefits. Additional revenue stream. Who doesn't want an additional revenue stream at this point? I'm not even talking about with the software. I'm talking about doing mind sync sessions, doing pain relief sessions, doing inner voice sessions. The first one's free, but the second one I charge $50. Then there's the building the Solex team. And then there's money that it can be made, passive residual money through Solex. And then even just shifting our limiting beliefs around income and abundance with our MindSync software that's included in our $149 a month. And here's the deal. Change your frequency, change your life. It's the field. What else has the ability to change your field? I mean, it's less than $5 a day. So this is kind of how I keep dripping on people. Like, here's the other Solex offers. Like, this is in the team page. I have a flyer already made. There's a link in another area where you could go into Canva and take out my information and put in your information. You could change the prices. You could change all kinds of stuff. You could do whatever you want, but I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. Here's the link, wellness frequency. Like, here's the link for Canva. You click on it, open up another page, and you just put your stuff in. So following up, and then here's to get started. I have tried to make this as easy for everybody. And it's all there. And it's not high pressure sales. It's blessing people and giving them a tool that's going to make their life better every day. So
very cool.
Yeah.
What on your Solex team board there's content, analytics, and messages. Are those internal, or do they have
it'll show me how many members were active in the last week, yesterday, today, this week, last month, all time. 136 people. There's 181 that have the board. Only 136 are active.
Very cool.
There's been 11,000 content interactions. Like, you can see where and what they were looking at. Our team has a, let me go back to the content. And then the messages, I send out messages through the software so that you can, like October 3rd, I did the InnerVoice 3.0 before we had 3.1. Now that we have 3.1, I'll put this in here. This training will be in our boards as well as on my Facebook page, or YouTube channel. What was I going to tell you about? One of the great things we have for our team is our Zooms. We do monthly Zooms. And if you go to Solex Team Calendar, you have access to our team training. And every month it'll be under Solex Team Calendar, and it has links to all the trainings that we have. So every month it'll be changed, but there's just one website because I'll just keep changing it. And so we have our Rising Leaders call on Monday nights. Here's the playlist. It'll take you to all the recordings. Wednesday night, Solex does our update calls. They're all there. This is Nadia just did. Here's Dr. Nadia Lutz, who we're working with now. She just did an amazing training on Wednesday night. And once that recording's available, I will put it right here. So I'll take this link out and put her training there. This upcoming Wednesday night, I'm doing a training on the 12 days of frequencies, social media training. And then there's the link. Here we have onboarding, and we do it twice a month. Wendy's doing it next Thursday at 10 a.m. Next Wednesday, I'm doing an overview. I mean, we have everything in here. Then I'm doing the onboarding next Thursday. And then here's important information about our team and how to join our calendar and how to, like it's everything that you need. And so if you have questions. So we have so much support available. This is what I love.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fair.
So, so here we go. So
one more question before we close out. So the clear glass that we put on, I'm going to take off my video. I just don't like looking at my mirrors behind us when we're doing our video. Let me just get rid of my background. Choose virtual background. None. Okay. So the glass has to contact, right? So this would not work with a
correct.
Correct. So contacting the Cepheid or the scanner.
Right, for imprinting.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good.
I'm going to end our video.
Glass now.
Stop recording.